Hi, I'm so glad you've decided to join us today. This channel is all about the journey, where life is taking us, and the things that we do to get there. I want you to come with me and experience all these things together. Hey everybody, so I wanted to pop on here really quick and just real quickly talk to you about some changes we are making with homeschooling. We've been going at this for, I guess it's been about 5 weeks now. And we're just kind of, figuring out what's working, what's not working, and I wanted to go ahead and change it instead of waiting for the 30 days like I said I was going to. Initially I said we was going to do 30 days of the easy peasy all-in-one homeschooling curriculum, and that we would reassess and change everything that we wanted to change at the 30-day mark. Well, we are, closing in on week 5, and I've decided that we are going to go ahead and change some things because it just wasn't working for my son. So I decided the other day we were doing reading, and we had already been having some struggles with math because it's too played down for him. He is way further advanced than what the 2nd grade level is teaching him. So I had already bumped up the games and things. She was wanting him to do the lower level, and so I'd already on my own accord bumped him up to the next level. So he had already been bumped up on that. But then one day we were doing reading, and it had been doing poems, and he was doing fine reading the poems, and it was going just fine until one day it changed, and it was a story. And my husband, actually, that was the day that he did homeschool with him that evening, and I came home and he was telling me about how it was a struggle, and that my husband actually had to read the entire thing to my son, where he had been doing most of the reading all himself, and then I would reread it to make it make sense for him, so that he could answer the questions. And he does his answers all verbally to me when he does that. So we decided that, because we use that all for his language arts, he did the reading, then there was questions, and then there's usually vocab. And this particular section, and it's been several days now, so I'm deciding to change the way he does his language arts portion to where now he does a workbook. I had bought a workbook last year when he was struggling in school, in public school. And so what I decided to do was, for language arts every day, that I would put him in his workbook. And this is taking him back to letter sounds, pronouncing his sounds, all that kind of thing. It's taking him back in this workbook to kind of relearn and reiterate all those kind of things that he has been struggling with. So I make him do about 5 pages or more, depending on how easy or hard the pages are, in his workbook every day. And we've been doing that for, I think, 3 days now, and I plan to continue. It's going over really well. We are coupling that with Dr. Seuss books. We were talking about the short A sound, and so I read one of the books that had a lot of short A sounds in it. And so then I would stop on a page, I would say, where's the short A's in this page? And he would point to the short A's. So it seemed to work out really well. He was able to read the Dr. Seuss books easily. There was obviously words where he had to sound out and stuff, but he did a lot better and seemed to do a lot better with that kind of learning style for him. So the workbook, and then coupling that with reading out of Dr. Seuss on top of our extra reading that we've been doing. So then with math, because the assignments for his math have not been, first of all, have not been hard enough in my opinion. They take him 10 minutes if that, and then he gets to play an online game that's about math. He loves the math games, so we are continuing to use the math games on Easy Peasy, but we are now doing our math in the workbook. So we are doing, again, 5+, depending on how hard the math is, pages each day, if not more. And it seems to be going really well. He likes being able to tangibly write. So on the computer, he really likes the game. So we'll do our 5+ pages in the book, and then he gets excited because he knows he gets to play one of his games later on. And so he really likes the way that it's set up right now. It's easier to get him motivated. He is so much more motivated now that we are using the workbook alongside Easy Peasy. We are still doing all of our yearly, which is our science and our history and our Bible reading as a group, him and his sister. And we are following Easy Peasy, but I am also adding. So, for instance, they're talking about ancient China. So I go to the library and I get books on China. And then I also find YouTube videos about the topics that we are talking about, because I want to broaden what they're talking about so that they better understand the subject matter. So I'm just kind of adding things to the curriculum. First of all, I have to get so many hours in a school year in order for my state to comply with my state laws. And I was not on track to get my hours in using Easy Peasy. It was not going to be enough hours by the end of the 180 days. So substituting the extra things, like I'm getting on YouTube and I'm finding those videos to add to what is already been provided on that website, is really working out for us. And then my daughter, with her daily writing, I've started using different things. Like now she's working on cursive. I bought her a little book. It's dry erase. She gets to practice her cursive, so I'll make her practice cursive for 15 minutes. And then now I've also got her writing letters to people. So she writes letters to her best friend. She can write letters to the neighbor next door that's sick. She can write letters to whoever she wants. Today, her daily writing assignment is to write a short story. I said you have to write a short story for at least 15 minutes. So she's doing her daily writing. Now my son's daily writing consists of him just writing. Whether that's writing for his language arts, because they're having him write words, and I'm making him make sure he's inside the space and doing his correct. Doing the correct height and that kind of thing on his writing. So just change some things up. It's not a bad thing to change things up. The reason I decided not to wait for the 30 days is because, you know what, my kids weren't getting what they needed. They needed a little bit more, and so we just decided it was time to up that. So it just is working out okay for us right now, and we'll reassess whenever necessary. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button.